We have Suzanne Gibson, Chugach Electric spokesperson. Suzanne, welcome to the program.
Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thank you so much on this beautiful Thursday. It looks like that you guys, along with Chugach and Conoco, have struck a deal. The governor's been involved in this also, as way the press releases have been announced. Good news for Anchorage consumers or South Central consumers of natural gas?
It's very good news for South Central consumers. Chugach is very pleased to announce the deal with ConocoPhillips. It's a 7-year gas contract, which will meet a good portion of our needs out through 2016. ConocoPhillips and Chugach worked very hard on the deal, and we think it is fair and equitable for gas consumers in South Central Alaska, and it's also fair and equitable for ConocoPhillips.
What was the governor's role in this, if I could ask?
They actually helped facilitate the negotiations. We've been in discussions for many years, and we were having a hard time just finalizing it, and so they came in and helped kind of mediate the contract, if you will.
Is it like Ross Perot said, it's about the money, follow the money? There's never really been a shortage of gas, has it? The controversy is about how much you're willing to pay.
Yes, that's true.
Is that true?
Well, it's probably no secret that gas supplies are declining in Cook Inlet.
Right.
But we are a production basin, and we produce more gas in Cook Inlet than we consume.
Okay.
And the LNG facility exports the gas that we don't consume. And so I think more than anything, it was what are we going to pay for the gas that we use right here in the Cook Inlet.
And the issue is obviously we as consumers, it's a little different than a car deal, right? The factory would like to have X for the car. The consumer probably wants to pay less than what the factory would like. And therefore, there has to be some sort of meeting of the minds, and that's what's happened between, let's say, Conoco, who would be the factory, and you and I being the consumer. Is that right? And you kind of came to a deal?
Yeah, that is exactly right. We always try to get the best deal for our customers, and a good deal to our customers means a lower price.
All right, what was the difference, if you can explain, help people understand, what was the difference in gas supply as we were yesterday, let's just say, as we are today after the contract's been approved and there's an agreement?
Well, we still have to take this contract to the commission, and it'll be a while before it gets approved.
You're talking about the Regulatory Commission, RCA?
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
But when this gas starts to flow under this contract in 2010, the price will be different than what we're paying now. And the way that it will be different is that 90% of the gas under this contract will be priced based off of production areas in the lower 48 United States. And so we're proud of that because people in Oklahoma, which is a production area in the lower 48, pay less for natural gas than they do in places like New York City, which is not a production area.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were able to tie the gas price to similarly situated regions in the United States, and we think that that represents a fair price.
Now, to John and Susie Smith living here in Anchorage, what does that mean to them? Does that mean they possibly see a lower gas bill?
Well, gas prices are based on what's going on in the market, and it's difficult for us to project at this moment what that exact price will be.
Okay.
But we feel confident that whatever the price ends up being, it will be a fair one that represents what gas is worth in production basins.
That was a good political answer. I appreciate that. I don't know what that really meant, but hey, I'll let you go on that one. Let me talk about the production now. There's been complaints. We're out of gas. We're running short on gas. When we're at our peak times, we can meet expectations, obligations during normal service periods. But when it's 20 below or 15 or whatever, when we come up to those peak, that's when we run into a problem. Is this agreement going to help satisfy those peak times?
Well, this agreement does cover our peaking needs through around April of 2011. And there's no question that when it's minus 20 degrees, there's a whole crew of people out there who are making sure that gas gets delivered to the place where it needs to be. And as time goes on, it gets more difficult. But ConocoPhillips is making investments in the Cook Inlet to be able to maintain that deliverability. That deliverability is included in this contract. We have a higher deliverability through April of 2011, and then Conoco is just meeting some baseload requirements. And so we're hoping that storage and other tools will be available for us to meet those peaking needs. But, we're an electric utility, and our demand is pretty flat throughout the year.
Sure. We're speaking with Suzanne Gibson with Chugach Electric. Let's take a phone call, if I can, 274-5297, 274-KBYR. Lynn, you're on with Suzanne Gibson.
Hi, Ms. Gibson.
Hi.
What happened to the Henry Hub price index? Now I hear we're linked to some sort of other index that where producers pay less than producing areas pay less than consuming areas.
That's correct.
So what happened to the Henry Hub?
Well, the Henry Hub is a price point that several producers were interested in getting in their long-term contracts with Cook Inlet utilities, but it wasn't one that Chugach was very excited about. And the reason why is because we don't consider Henry Hub a production area. Production areas are generally trading at value less than Henry Hub, and so we fought really hard to put together a basket of 5 different production points, and we used that to price the gas instead of Henry Hub.
Well, I applaud you for doing that, and I'm still suspicious about how was it. It was NSTAR that went looking for that Henry Hub index.
Well, NSTAR did have has a contract right now with Unocal that's priced at Henry Hub, and I think that it changed the conversation of how gas should be priced in the Cook Inlet when that contract was approved, and we have been trying to change that dynamic, and we feel really proud that we were able to accomplish that with the ConocoPhillips contract.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Why can't I buy my gas like I buy my telephone service? Why can't I buy from Unocal or ConocoPhillips and just let NSTAR, just like my telephone utility does, just lay the wire, provide the infrastructure, so that we can have a little bit more competition in this?
Well, there aren't competing gas utilities in the Cook Inlet, and NSTAR has a certificate to serve this area, and so that's why you have to go through NSTAR.
Well, but we have just allowed NSTAR to become a monopoly. We've allowed them to control both the supply and the distribution. That could be changed then, as far as you know.
Oh, I don't know if it could be changed, and I really probably shouldn't speak for NSTAR.
It's an interesting question, though. It sounds like, to me, is that the RCA grant them a certificate, and that's what enables them to do what they do?
That's correct.
Right. So I mean, it sounds to me that, and this just may be too simplistic, but if other certificates were granted, there could be competition, no different than happened within the, as you said quite well, Lynn, is in the telephone industry where it's been broken up and the monopolies have been broken up, and which has been better for the consumer.
There could be, but there's an awful lot of infrastructure that goes into being a gas distribution company, and I'm not sure that we would get the economies of scale for having more than one gas utility in the Cook Inlet, although I'm sure that many people have debated whether or not there should be.
And Lynn, anything else? Good questions.
No, but that was, I thank you for the input, and good for Chugach. Maybe they're setting a trend.
Yeah, and Lynn, thank you so much. We're speaking with Suzanne Gibson from Chugach Electric. I want to take a break here real quick, if I can stick with you, Suzanne. I want to come back and talk to you about what this means to the LNG plant and Kenai, I believe, and what about the Agrium plant? Is this going to have any effects on that? Will that reopen? I'm not an expert in this area, but anyways, to help kind of walk us through those two different scenarios and discussions. We'll be right back with Suzanne Gibson, Chugach Electric spokesperson, just in a minute.